Hello, I'm Phil from Collective Being, and welcome to this grounding and breathing practice. Today we'll be combining breathing and movement, hopefully to provide us with a sense of um, calm energy, but also an opportunity to come back to ourselves physically speaking. All you require today is a physical space to be able to lay down, sit, and be on your hands and knees. It doesn't have to be a mat. If you don't have one at home, you're welcome to place a blanket down, really anything that can support your hands, your knees, and your body. Setting up a warm environment that is calming and but also soothing and nurturing will probably be helpful for this experience. Once you've acquired whatever you feel you need for this experience, I'd like to encourage you to I'd like to remind you that this experience is about choice and agency, meaning that you are welcome to stop at any stage and you can change or amend the offers that I provide you. That being said, if you don't mind indulging me, we'll start on our belly, flat, with our hands on top of one another and our forehead on top of our hands. Once you've arrived on your belly with your hands beneath you, I'd like to encourage you to separate your elbows as wide as you can, just so that your chest is nice and broad. And then we'll relax here on the mat. Allow you to come into this shape for the endeavor of remaining clear so you can hear me. I'll come back to a seated position. Now, as you lay on your belly, notice the way your legs are placed and start to observe the entirety of your body as you find a more comfortable position. With your head on your hands, notice if you can move your neck so that you're a little bit more comfortable, shifting your shoulders and also bringing your chest to the floor. We won't be moving into any specific type of breathing yet, just taking the opportunity to lay here for a few moments in silence. As you lay here, notice what is happening in your mind, whether it is what's happening at home or where you intend to be in the future, and allow these thoughts to pass through your mind like a river. The same way you would observing a river, you don't have to interact with its flow. You can observe it as it goes by. Let's try and create the same imagery for the narratives happening in our mind. And bringing our attention to the forehead, pardon me, and bringing softness to the forehead. Allowing your eyebrows, your temples, your eyelids, your cheeks, your lips, your tongue and your jaw to soften. Noticing the chest on the floor, noticing the back as it rises towards the ceiling, filling up. And as you exhale, feel your belly lift in and up towards the spine as your back sinks in towards the floor. Filling up the lungs, your ribs expand out to the sides, your belly towards the mat or the floor, the back towards the ceiling. Really picturing this expansion in all directions and this contraction in all directions. One of the things that can be helpful is to imagine that you've got a balloon in your chest cavity and your belly. But like you'd be pouring water in a cup or filling up a balloon, it needs to go to the very bottom first and move upwards to fill as much as it can. Unfortunately, some of the breathing habits that we have can impede us from reaching the very depths of our lungs. If, like me, you've had a lifetime where you are breathing through your chest, maybe noticing how you introduce your diaphragmic breathing as you lay here on the mat. As your belly expands, it presses into the floor. And as you empty, the belly lifts away from the floor. Only 2 more of these breaths remain. If you're feeling any sense of anxiety, discomfort, take the steps to support yourself, whether that is changing the shape you're in or maybe even disconnecting from this experience for a moment. Now, whenever you are ready to approach your next breath out, allow it to come out of your mouth, just sighing it out of your body. And we'll take 1 more breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, expanding the back. And as you exhale, maybe bring in an audible sound to your exhale through the mouth. We'll place our hands on either side of our body, and we'll press into them as we breathe in to come onto our hands and knees. Once you've arrived on your hands and knees, we'll start to move through our neck. So what we're doing here is rotating our neck in big circles, essentially using your chin towards one shoulder, and then down the length of your collarbones towards the other shoulder, and then forward towards the front of the room. And all you're doing here is noticing what's happening in your neck. Just try and make sure that you're moving at the same pace as you're breathing. So as you breathe out, you're looking down towards the mat. And as you breathe in, you're looking up towards the ceiling. If you can fathom adding the movement of your hips at the same time, you can go ahead and do them both. Now, as you move your hips and your head in big circles, it may feel funny. You may start to lean into that aesthetic judgment of I'm moving weird, I look weird. Well, ultimately, anything worth doing is always going to start off weird. But as you familiarize yourself with this, and you gain the benefits of these movements and the connection to your breath, you start to notice that it's probably worthwhile the supposed embarrassment, which really is an internal concept and not a reality. Now, as you move your hips, if moving them both at the same time feels a bit confusing, and it is, you can stop moving your head and just move your hips and your buttocks in big circles. So isolating which one you choose to do if both of them are a bit complex. Now, as you move your spine like this, you start to notice places in your body, perhaps that feel tender, places that feel uncomfortable. See if you can encourage the breath and your imagination into those places, and use your breath and your imagination to siphon the discomfort with every exhale. And a couple of more breaths, or a couple more movements, whichever one you're leaning into, we'll be coming back into a still position. As you arrive, notice if your knees and your hands have shifted, and then we'll walk our hands forward, keeping your knees beneath your hips. First, lower your forearms, and your next breath out, sit back towards your heels, and reach your arms forward in this child's pose. Allow your head to be heavy towards the floor. While we're here, we'll notice what's happening in our entire spine. So rotate your hips down towards the heels and reach your arms as far forward as you can. Using your next breath in to walk your hands over to the left side of your mat, or whatever it is you have beneath you. And we'll bring the right hand on top of the left hand. Notice the stretch through the right side of your body, and allow the muscles through the left side of your ribs to engage. So almost like someone's trying to tickle your left armpit, and you're closing the gap between your armpit and your thigh. And once you find the physical edge, the physical limit of how far you can go, don't go any further. Don't force yourself into anything. We use more encouraging and supportive language in our mind, but also behavior, because we're here to negotiate with our body, not to force it through anything, and to let our breath support those decisions. Now, last breath remains in this shape. As you exhale through the nose, suck your belly in and up. On your next breath in, sweep your right arm across to the other side of your mat, followed by the left hand. Now, coming to the exact same shape on the other side. Although just be mindful that this side has its own story to tell. So anatomically speaking, there is probably some differences on this side. And instead of trying to homogenize, so we're not trying to make both sides of our body the same, we're trying to learn what the differences are so we can support and also utilize our body in a different way. Now take a deep breath in here through that left lung. So imagine the left side of your body is expanding and the right side of your body is contracting. It's re-engaging. This side doesn't want to go as far. Again, remember, no forceful energy, just encouraging. Encouragement means that you suggest something and whatever it is does its best. If it doesn't want to go any further, that's as far as we're going to go. Anyway, this is the last breath out here, and we'll bring our hands back to center. Give yourself a couple of breaths here in a neutral child's pose. While we're here, feel your belly expand towards your thighs as you breathe in, and suck your belly in and up away from your thighs as you breathe out. And we'll walk our hands back, so as we return back to tabletop, we'll extend our right leg behind us into a calf stretch. So if you can grab as much grip with the toes of your right foot as you extend your right heel behind you, we're going to drive the heel back and then start to lift your right knee up until you feel a stretch through that right calf muscle. If you need more, perhaps you lift your hips a little higher. Drive your right heel further back. And again, check back into the pace of your breath and the evenness of your breath in and your breath out. Take one last breath here. And as you exhale, gently bring your right foot across to the left side of your mat, like so. And walk your hands towards the left side. Now this is a fairly complex shape in the sense that your legs and arms are twisted and winding. So if it looks a bit odd to you, it probably is. Lift the neck a little higher. Turn it a little more as you exhale. And drive your right heel a little further away and remain for your last breath out here. As you bring your hands back to center, we'll walk our right leg, so that right long leg, around outside our right hand. Once you've lowered your right foot outside your right hand, maybe take a slight step back with your left knee, so sliding it further back. Having your hands on the floor is a bit much. You can always bring this up here. Just so breath remains here. And then we'll bring our right knee back in a moment. As we place our hands to the floor, we'll take a step forward with our left foot, same shape on the second side. Lean that right leg further back. So you'll notice that we're not here any longer than we need to be, just enough to check in to see how these parts of our body feel. Take one last breath here. And as we exhale, we're going to extend our left leg around to the right side of our mat and come into that stretch to the right side. Turn your right shoulder to the right, drive your left heel away. Take one last breath here and remain as you exhale. I will return our left leg back. Left leg is long for our calf stretch. Drive your left heel to the back of the mat. Now this is really the last shape we're doing before we come to lay on our back. Drive that left heel back and find a stretch. In your next exhale, lower both knees. Then we're going to come to lay down. So just slowly recline onto your back. Once you've arrived, give your knees a quick hug. Press the upper back into the floor. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale to extend your legs and your arms by your side and long. Just allowing all those quick shapes we've done to seal into the body. Now, while we lay here, I'd like to encourage you to place your hands on your belly and your chest. It will allow our belly to rise as we breathe in, followed by the chest, and then the belly to descend towards the floor as we exhale. We'll take just 2 more of these. Inhale, belly expands, chest follows. And exhale, belly descends, chest descends as well. Essentially like a wave. Inhale for the last one, belly expands, chest follows, belly descends, chest descends. Let go of any form of focused breathing now and allow your lungs to do what they do naturally. Bring your arms by your side and just relax for a few moments. If closing your eyes is something you're comfortable to do, you can go ahead and do that. But if you're not comfortable with that, then just look up to the ceiling, to something very small. Just allow the thoughts of your mind to journey through you. Give yourself the permission to feel safe and to feel held in your own body, in this unique structure that you call your temple, but more importantly, the unique substance that inhabits this body of yours. As always, with a lot of gratitude and respect for your time and trust in me and collective being, our community, please feel free to visit our website, collectivebeing.org, if you'd like to find more of our offerings. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Phil for Collective Being. Have a lovely day.